Good morning, Wilson. I'm Molly Beers. I'm glad to see you all back here for now the fourth week of Warrior News from Home. Today, we're going to start off with another edition of Physics Moment of the Day with Mr. G.
Happy Tuesday, Wilson, and welcome to your Physics Moment of the Day. I'm Mr. G with your Physics Moment of the Day. Today, I'd like to talk about magnetic shielding. We've got a pretty powerful magnet up here, and we've got a small little fraction of a paper clip coated with red plastic for visibility on a thread anchored to the table here. Now, the first thing I want to ask my guys is how many significant forces are acting on the paper clip? Okay, is it zero? It's at rest. If I do this, you can see it's in equilibrium. I do that so you can see it. Is it zero? One force? Two forces? Three forces? Four forces? What do you think? How many substantial forces are acting on the paper clip as it remains at rest right now? Well, it turns out the answer is three. And everybody say hello to Silver. There she is. She's in studio number 2, interrupting the physics moment of the day. How dare she, right? Good thing I love her. Okay, the answer is how many? Yes, you're right. 3 forces. You have mg down, force of gravity down, of course. You have big blue here that you saw last week pulling up, and you have the tension in the string down. So that's 2 down forces, the weight of the clip, the tension in the cable, both of those counteracted by the single up force, forced magnetic. Why don't you just make yourself comfortable and ruin the whole thing? All right, she said, okay, that's the deal. I guess she's going with option B, ruining the whole darn thing. All right, now, magnetic shielding is what can we put in the gap to block the magnetic force up and allow the paper clip to fall? Well, the answer might surprise you. Let's take a look. First, my hand. Nope. Magnetic fields go right through the human body. Okay, that gap is, 4 inches, 9, 10 centimeters, something like that. Well, let's find out what materials can block a magnetic field. How about a piece of plastic? Piece of plastic goes in the gap, magnetic field goes right through, magnetic force up maintained, plastic won't do it. How about cardboard? Well, not only is this 2 pieces of cardboard, but there's a lot of plastic. There's 8 markers in here. You've already seen that plastic doesn't block it. How about the cardboard in the container? Not even a little bit. Block the entire magnet? I don't think so. Magnetic field goes right through the cardboard and plastic for that matter, maintains that magnetic force up. How about a piece of styrofoam? Shipping material? No way, no way. Magnetic field goes right through the styrofoam. How about a piece of wood? Here's a piece of wood from Silver's Doghouse Construction. And piece of wood goes right through the gap. Magnetic field goes right through the wood. Magnetic field goes right through wood like it's not even there. Okay, how about a piece of paper? Now we've all put our little physics quizzes on the refrigerator. Matthew, he's got his 5 out of 5 on the fridge. Mom says, isn't that wonderful? Dad says, what the heck is that? So we put a piece of paper, and a single piece of paper doesn't do it. How about 2 sheets of paper? That doesn't do it. How about 4 sheets of paper? No way. How about 800 pages, 400 sheets? And the answer is no way. The magnetic field goes through this entire physics book like it's not even there. Well, that's great for the nonmetals. How about the metals? Aluminum. The magnetic field goes through this sheet of aluminum like it's not even there. Gold. Here is a gold coin commemorating Apollo 11, first man on the moon. We put the gold coin there. The magnetic field goes right through the gold coin. Silver. And she just turned and looked at me. A silver coin, very, very old. You can see tarnished and a little eraser there, getting rid of the silver oxide on the top. Silver. Magnetic field goes right through the silver. So, guys, if I had copper, if I had zinc, I could show you no, magnetic field goes right through. There is one metal, and it might surprise you. This is steel. These are steel or iron, basically nails for a pneumatic air gun. When you're constructing air power, boom, 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 you fasten down something quickly. Now, this blue magnet is going to attract this steel, so I have to use two hands and not let the steel be pulled up. As you can see, no physical contact. I was able to divert the magnetic field to block the magnetic field, magnetic shielding, shield the magnetic field with iron or steel, and that's it. This explains a few things. Why your hard drive in your computer is encased in steel. Not only is it strong and cheap, but it protects the magnetic information, your zeros and ones, from outside magnetic forces rearranging your data and corrupting your files. This explains why on a tower computer, the sides, the front, etc., the case is still made of old-fashioned sheet metal, iron or steel. This explains why going over the bridge on Route 22 from Wilson through Easton to Phillipsburg, AM radio, you'll have to Google what that is, AM radio will knock out. The steel girders, the steel frame act as a magnetic shield to the electromagnetic AM radio wave and can get through. FM waves, Sirius XM, etc., those waves are much smaller and they can fly through the opening as if those steel beams weren't even there. Okay, magnetic shielding. Now, I did leave out something interesting. I left out glass. So let's reset up our demo. Let's get this guy back here so we have our gap. And here's a good old piece of glass. Okay, glass. Glass does not do it. I think you can see there's the magnet in there. I'll move the plate a little bit, and the magnet is now moving left to right there. We can see it now. And the magnetic field passes through this glass coffee mug like it's not even there. To recap, magnetic shielding, only steel, iron or steel, can block a magnetic field. And away we go, and we cause the field to collapse. I'm Mr. G, and this was your physics moment of the day.
Have you heard about the weekly trivia games hosted by Student Council? In this week's game on May 6th, the 10 a.m. winner was Claire. Then later that day at 1 p.m., Hunter won. And finally, on Friday, Mr. Crook won. Congratulations to all the winners. We'd like to help you get to know a little more of the class of 2020 with some senior biographies. we have Chloe with another edition of Cooking with Chloe.
Hello Wilson, welcome back to another Cooking with Chloe, and tonight for Mother's Day I'm making homemade lava. Okay, so in the first bowl I have 4 whole eggs and then 4 egg yolks, half a cup of sugar, 2 sticks of butter, 12 ounces of bittersweet chocolate, 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and just a little bit of salt. And then I have these ramekins and I'm gonna lightly oil them and then put a little cocoa powder on them so it doesn't stick. So my first step is combining my chocolate and my butter, and I'm gonna put it in the microwave in 1-minute intervals until it melts. In my next bowl, I'm combining the eggs, the sugar, and a little bit of salt and mixing. Now that the chocolate's melted and the eggs and sugar are mixed, we're gonna combine the chocolate and the egg mixture. And over here, my sister is lining the ramekins with cocoa powder and canola oil. Okay, now that that's mixed, I'm just gonna add my 4 tablespoons of flour. My last step is to scoop the batter into the ramekins until they're halfway full, and then cook for 12 minutes on 450. Okay, my lava cake's been baking for 12 minutes, and here's what they should look like. You're just gonna wanna let them cool for 1 minute and then serve.
Chloe, that looked really good. One way a lot of people are using this time is to get caught up and watch new binge-worthy TV shows. Here's Brianna Negron with some new recommendations.
Hey everyone, it's Brianna Negron and welcome back to my TV and movie review segment. I hope everyone is staying productive as we're nearing the end of the school year, which is crazy, but I still want to recommend some TVs and movies for everyone while we're still home. So the first TV show I wanted to talk about is Outer Banks, which I'm currently watching right now. This is such a good show, even though I'm only halfway through it. It came out recently on Netflix as a Netflix original, and it has some very interesting characters and is a great show for people my age. So this is mostly a drama and a mystery, and it's still very funny, so it really caters to everyone, but it takes place on a small island. The main characters are on a mission to find out what happened to the protagonist's father and face many different issues with different people on the island and in their town. This show is only 1 season, so if you don't want to commit to something with a lot of seasons, I would definitely check this out because it is very entertaining, and you have some more seasons to look forward to, which I'm hoping they come out with. So the next thing I want to recommend is a documentary called Becoming. This is a new documentary about Michelle Obama. I haven't watched this yet, but I know from the way she presents herself and the trailer, it will be very uplifting. I recommend this to everyone, no matter your political beliefs, because she is a very empowering woman, and I think everyone could use that kind of energy right now, especially with what we're going through. It's just something that everyone could look forward to and needs in their life right now, so I would really recommend that. And finally, I don't have a specific recommendation for everyone, but I would really encourage everyone to just check out Netflix right now, because I've noticed they've put a lot of different classic movies and new shows on there just because everyone's home and they want to keep it up to date as we're going through it pretty quickly. So recently I saw they put on like the Back to the Future movies, all of the Bad Boys movies. They put on some Disney movies that they still have left on there just by Disney Plus. And aside from that, there's plenty more, so I think everyone should just check that out because we're all home, and really just refresh Netflix and just go through it right now because there's plenty to watch, so you will not get bored. So aside from relaxing with some new shows and new movies, I really hope everyone is staying active, especially as it's getting nicer out, but also once it gets nighttime and you're just getting ready for bed, check out some new shows and movies to keep your mind off everything. So other than that, stay safe everyone. Bye!
Thanks for those recommendations, Bree. Recently, Allie has decided to do interviews with students and staff on how they feel about this quarantine. This week, she did one with Mr. Fowler.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mr. Fowler. I am a high school math teacher, mainly seniors, or I do a lot of senior classes, and then I'll have every now and then an underclassmen class, typically in Algebra 1 or Algebra 2.
So first question to get started is, how are you staying productive at home?
To stay productive, I just set up a schedule. So I actually downloaded an app, a time planner, where I could pretty much block out my day from about 7:30 all the way up to about 4. And that way I could schedule activities for my boys in there too, and the day could just kind of flow and I could try to keep some type of structure as I went throughout the day.
It's a good idea. I like that. So, getting into a little bit of a sad question, what was your favorite memory of the school year?
There were a lot. I can't just pick one. There were two main ones that came into mind. The first was definitely the night of hallway decorating, watching Colton get shoved into the giant teddy bear was pretty entertaining, although nerve-wracking at the same point. And then the other one was during the 76ers trip when we were stuck on the side of the road. Again, very nerve-wracking for me, but looking back on it now, it was actually a pretty pleasant experience and felt like everybody did such a fantastic job and rolled with the flow that made it definitely an enjoyable trip.
I think I'm glad the seniors got to go on that. It definitely was interesting when we were sitting there, but it was still a fun trip.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look back on it now. I mean, yeah, things happen. It would have been better to see the basketball game, but at least great group of kids on the bus.
Okay, so at home, what do you do to pass the time?
Lots and lots of schoolwork. I try to get a morning exercise in, or I just get right on my laptop and start recording lessons, making lessons, grading, responding to emails. So that takes up a good majority of my day. Um, Otherwise, to pass the time, I might get outside. I've been trying to get my grass to grow just right and get that in. This is the first summer of opening up the pool. Like, I got a pool put in last summer, so I've been trying to research and figure out what I need to do to get that to all come in nice.
Pretty cool. So, how do you feel so far about this online school since it was kind of like a big change for all of us?
I definitely think that we're doing the best with what we have and what we're given. So, I mean, of course, I would much rather be in the school. I miss the interactions. I miss being able to explain things. I don't have the luxury of seeing somebody looking confused and being able to ask them about it. I, I'm purely relying on people to reach out to me to ask questions. So that I think is one of my biggest struggles with all this online learning. It's
Mhm.
hard to get face-to-face time.
So, like, kind of branching off of that, how do you feel? Like, how have people actually like come to you? Like, do you feel like there is a good like setup that people have been doing, or do you feel like a little like drawn back?
The quality of work I've seen is absolutely fantastic. I think I've actually gotten higher quality work out of more people
Hmm.
when they can kind of do it on their own pacing. However, there are some that are kind of falling through the cracks, and it's very, very hard to reach out to them, to get a hold of them, and to kind of motivate them. Where at least if I saw them multiple times throughout the week, I could sit there and say, hey, come on, we got to set this up, come in and see me. Where when they're on their own, it's much easier to kind of ignore that and
Mhm.
kind of brush things off.
Okay, so going through this, what do you think was the most difficult part about the transition?
Losing student interaction. I know for me, so much of when I'm setting up a lesson, I set up the lesson, like I anticipate questions, but I kind of set up things so that students will ask questions because I think that's how you learn. You experiment with the material, like I can show you a couple things, but if I just explain it all and you just say, oh, okay, I don't feel like you truly learned anything until you start to make that information your own, then it registers a little bit differently. So losing that has been very, very challenging for me, at least, because now I have to make a lesson and it is pure lecture. And I was just never one that cared for those classes or ever wanted to really have that type of class.
Okay. We can move into some more like a little bit funner questions. So, to start off with a very harsh one, how do you feel about the class of 2020 missing a majority of their senior year?
I was gonna say they actually didn't miss the majority of their senior year. They just missed probably the part I look forward to the most. The end of the year there, the fourth marking period. So you only miss one marking period, so you miss only 25% of the school year, but that was where prom was, senior trip. I know we were starting to plan all of that and kind of going through all of those aspects where, been with you guys since you were freshmen all the way up through, was really looking forward to having those fun days and those fun events in there to see it outside of school as well. So, I mean, I'm definitely upset and upset for you guys because there's a lot of things that we always design and kind of create so you have the best senior year. And now, unfortunately, we can't get to it, but still trying to work through, see what the governor will allow us. And I haven't given up hope yet. We're gonna get something in here still. That's my hope and my plan. So
I'm sure all the seniors are hoping that just at least try to get a little something out there so we can end high school with a bang. So hopefully. So with this, is there any advice that you have for underclassmen going through, because this is, I'm sure, is definitely going into high school or going to your second year, this is very odd about.
it is. I mean, my only advice I can think of for the underclassmen is make sure that you're staying on top of your assignments. Don't procrastinate. A little bit at a time is much, much easier than everything all at once. So stay diligent with it and make sure that you are communicating with your teachers. I think especially now more than ever, learning kind of how to branch out and get out of that comfort zone and ask and seek out the help is going to be one of the most important skills to learn early. So that would be the main thing. And to make sure that you do actually adhere to all the guidelines that are coming out through the state, through the district, to make sure that you are staying safe and healthy. So that way, when this passes and we can kind of get back to some normalcy, everybody is good to go.
So second to last question, this is a little bit more happy. With all this going around, how did you and your family celebrate Easter this year?
Easter was much, much different for me. It kind of broke from the traditions because normally we get up and we'll let my two little ones will go hunting for their baskets. Once they find their baskets, they always like to raffle through them. So we still got to at least do that. But then normal was always we'd go to church and then we'd end up going up to or meeting up with some type of family. We actually had big plans with the family that all got canceled. So our Easter kind of fell flat. I got to watch my boys find their Easter baskets. They found them a lot quicker than what I was expecting. They got the candy, they enjoyed it, but then the day just seemed like any other day, and it kind of lost its specialness in my mind. So, looking forward to next year's Easter.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of fell a little flat on that one because it's just an odd situation to be in when you have something like that you do every single year and it kind of just like gets thrown away.
Yeah.
Okay, so lastly, is there anything that you would like to share with all of us about this or about anything with you?
The current time, try to be very careful of what I say because I don't want anything to ever be misconstrued. I know I definitely got super excited when I heard that the governor opened back up golf courses starting on Friday. So I haven't been able to make a tee time yet. I'm still kind of counting down the days to get back out on the golf course, but was definitely super excited the fact that some things are slowly starting to open back up. So I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel and everybody's just got to stay patient and stay healthy and safe. So trying to adhere to as many rules as possible.
Okay. Thank you so much for doing this interview. hopefully it will open to people's eyes and brighten a day maybe.
Hopefully.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Lastly, a message from Miss Sailor. I bet a lot of you hadn't had a haircut recently. Now is the perfect time to think about growing your hair out for next year's Wilson Hair Drive. We're planning for it in the spring. You only need 8 inches of hair to make a big difference for children with hair loss due to alopecia, cancer, and other trauma. Thank you in advance, and thank you to everyone who donated at this year's hair drive. That's all we have for you today, Wilson. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at Warrior News 15 to keep up to date with the latest from us. I'm Molly Veers. Have a spectacular day, Wilson, and good luck on those AP tests.